In section 5.2, we're going to learn a shortcut for graphing these linear functions or lines, and it's going to be using what's called intercepts. On this screen, we just need to review what an intercept is. The word intercept means where two things hit. So when we have a line, and that line hits the x-axis here, for example, and maybe the line hits the y-axis up here. Now I draw my line, so that's called my line or my function. This is called the y-intercept, and this one down here is called the x-intercept. It's where the function, in this case a line, hits the axes. Here we see a screen with a grid. We see a function on here. It's a function, an xy machine of some sort, and it has two intercepts. You see it hits the y-axis here and the x-axis here. We can write those intercepts as an ordered pair. So this one down here, this dot, would be over 2 up 0. And then the other intercept is up here, and it's going to be over 0 up 5. So those are the two intercepts. The grayish blue color would be the y-intercept, and the red color would be the x-intercept. Now what happens if they don't give you a graph, and instead they give you the function or this equation like this? This is a machine. It's an x, y linear equation, and this one's actually in standard form, as we learned in 5.1. Standard form: ax plus by equals c. Standard form. Well, what we want to do here is, there's a couple different ways to call this, but I like to call it the cover-up method. We're going to figure out the two intercepts, and remember from the previous screen, one of the intercepts is going to be over 0 up or down something. That's called the y-intercept, and then the other intercept is called the x-intercept, is going to be over something and then up 0. Okay. Now when we are plugging in x equals 0, okay, that's just like down here on a t-chart. X, we're plugging in 0 for x. We're going to try to figure out what comes out when 0 goes in. So we're going to plug x equals 0 in there. Now we have a thing called the cover-up method. That's why this hand is over here, where we cover up the thing that is being set to 0. So to figure out what goes in this blank, we are going to set x to 0, which causes this term to blow up or go away. So we're going to cover that up. So let's cover it up. There we go. We've covered it up with our fingers. And we now look at what's left. And in our head we can do this work. In our head we think, oh, yeah, I could do that. We just divide, let me get my pen, divide by -2 on both sides in our head. We see that y must be -6. So we come up here and we put that number in here. That's y equals -6. Y equals -6. Now we're going to do the same thing to figure out the x. So let me clear off the board here. Okay, there, we're all clear except for that -6 is in here that we solved for y. So now we're going to set y to 0, and it's going to go in right here, causing this term to blow up and get covered up. So let's go ahead and cover that up. And there we go. We have set y to 0, which caused this term to blow up, which is why we're covering it up. And what's remaining here is 3x is 12. Well, in our head we can divide both sides by 3. We get x equals 4. X equals 4, and that's what we're going to put in right here for x equals, because this after all is an x position. X equals 4. So we now have our two intercepts, 0, -6 and 4, 0. So let's go ahead and plot those points then. 4, 0 is going to be over 4 up 0. Over 4 up 0. However, the red point here, the dot's in the wrong place, so we're going to have to fix that. Let's just cross that out. And instead of over 0 down 6, it's going to be down here at -6. And then we just draw our line. Here comes our line. We draw it in. There's our line. We just did a quick graphing method of using the cover-up method to get the answer. Okay, so here's another example. Our goal here is to get the graph and to get it as fast as we can. We're going to use the cover-up method, and the way you start that, a lot of students don't know how to start. You want to start by writing 0, comma something, something, comma 0 on your paper. And now you're ready to fill in these somethings. Okay, now when we set x to 0, we are going to cover up the x portion of the equation. And you see what's left. 2 times something is 16. Of course, y is 8. So that 8 is going to go in here for y. Alright, now I'm going to erase that. So we got that filled in. And now I'm going to change my color here. Now we're going to bring that x back and start again. We are now going to set y to 0. So that means this portion is going to get covered up. And we divide by 4. Divide by 4. X is 4 then. So that goes in here. So we set y to 0, giving us the x-intercept actually. So now let me erase that, and we're ready to do our graph, because remember our answer is actually our graph. So here we go. There, x and y. We're going to go to the right 4, and we're going to go up 8. So 2, 4, 6, 8. I'll skip by 2's going up. And let me put my 2 dots up here. We got a dot here, and we have a dot here, and I draw the line. So that went pretty quickly for getting the graph. So that's how you do, it's called the cover-up method, or sometimes I call it the 0, comma something, something, comma 0 method. Other people, including the book, call it the intercept method of graphing. And we're going to learn several different methods of graphing, and this is the first shortcut method, and we want to get good at this so we don't forget it when we learn the other methods. Alright, good luck.